Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for hopping on with me this morning. I've been looking forward to this topic all week, menu plan like a personal chef. I've been a personal chef since 2007 and hopefully picked up enough tips and tricks along the way to share a little bit of gold with you all about menu planning. Say good morning. Show me your mug. I'm still on the caffeine bus right now. Now, just to make sure that I'm in my Facebook group, I'm going to pop over here. I am live with StreamYard, so if you can give StreamYard permission to show me your name, then I can see who's leaving any comments. Please say good morning. Let's see. Oh no. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay. So menu planning. Thank you so much for those of you that participated in my poll. And if you haven't yet, just scroll down a tiny bit and let me know what is your number one struggle or what is top of mind when you are creating your menu for yourself. Good morning, Wendy. Your menu for yourself or for your family for the week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for the month. I think budget is the one thing that came to the top for a lot of us, myself included, just in the past 2-3 years, right? Prices of ingredients and even eggs, for heaven's sake. Last spring, they went up, at least in my area, to $5-6 a dozen. And that wasn't even for organic, free range, cage free, brown, all the good stuff. So I think we are all definitely very budget conscious when it comes to meal planning. Yes, definitely. And tastes and preferences, that's what we're going to talk about today. Budget, what you have on hand. We all have those ingredients in the pantry, right, that need to get used up. Maybe we picked them up on sale. Maybe we saw a recipe and picked up an ingredient and then just never got around to trying it, but it's hanging out there in the pantry, right? And rather than, it can always become part of the holiday donation, right? But I know that being budget conscious, we all want to use up what we've got. And I think the third top one that was on the list was, was time. And time, right? How much time do you have? So many of us are running in so many different directions, and that's just life these days, right? How many of you have a full-time job outside the home or even inside the home, right? Working at home is kind of a misnomer because you definitely have to time block a little bit better and make sure, this is the time for work. This is the time for family. This is it because you're not physically in different spaces. So time and probably skills, right? What is it that you're prepared to be able to cook quickly and efficiently and flavorfully? That's a big thing. So here's what I go to when I'm menu planning for a personal chef client. And I'm going to walk you through the process very quickly, but it kind of turns it on the head of menu planning. Because first we think, okay, well, let's check the sales, right? Let's see what's at the grocery store. And it's a mix of all of that. But what can actually end up being your best budget-friendly friend is to prepare meals that those you are feeding are actually going to enjoy and eat, right? And that's also one of the biggest weight loss sustainability indicators is enjoyment of food, enjoyment of flavors. You have to like what you're eating in order to eat more of it. Not that you want to overeat on it, but you want to enjoy it, right? So we want to bring back the enjoyment. We want to bring back the flavor without using 2 sticks of butter or, unless it's Thanksgiving. If you saw my Thanksgiving turkey reel, turkey definitely needs butter. We want to use herbs. We want to use herb spice mixes and just enough salt to bring out the flavor. And if, of course, if there are any specific dietary concerns, then all the guidelines need to, whatever you plan, need to then be run through whatever guidelines you are trying to adhere to in order to make sure that you're meeting your goals. Okay, so first thing that I do, and I have it's like a 4-page, 2-page back and back questionnaire that I give to my clients. And the first question on there is, where do you like to eat? What restaurants do you like to eat out at? And at those restaurants, what do you like to order? So just trying to get a baseline indicator of what some of their preferences are when they're treating themselves out, right? So what do you like to eat out? and you could take stock for yourself and for your family. But of course, the hardest thing, right, with yourself and with family is to take that step back and kind of be emotionally divorced from what the results might be, because we have these things that we're trying to plan for, right? We're keeping in mind budget, we're keeping in mind our time, we're keeping in mind. So if you can bracket all that for just this small space of time and give yourself the grace to think, okay, well, what do I like to eat? Where do I go when I like to eat out? What do I like to eat out? When I am preparing meals at home, what are like our top three? What are our top three favorites? And more often than not, a little secret, most of those comfort foods come into those top three, like lasagna. I think I've seen that on a top three list in the past year. Lasagna, anything that is creamy and cheesy, right? The indulgences, right? We think of comfort foods at home. So what do you like to eat out? That would be my first sort of list. What do you like to eat out? What are you or your kids enjoying? What do you like to eat at home? That would kind of be the next set of preferences. And then you want to take a look at just in general, what flavor profiles do you like? What are those, those ethnicities or ethnic groupings of flavor that do you like Thai, Japanese, Indian, Mexican, Latin American, Tex-Mex? Those are all different, right? So make a list of those, maybe your top 5 or 7 or even 10 of all the different kinds of cuisines that you like to eat on a regular basis, and then note the ones that you'd like to try. Okay, so that kind of gives us our palette, our palette of flavors that you're currently enjoying, that and that you'd like to enjoy. And then you want to make a note. Okay, when I look at any nutrition or dietary concerns, are you gluten-free? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to go low carb? Are these self-imposed, or things that you've chosen that you've noticed for yourself, or are these doctor recommended, dietitian recommended because of a health condition that you need to adhere to? So make a note for all of those. That's kind of your second section, right? Okay, so we got our preferences, we've got our nutrition and our dietary guidelines, and then this is going to sound a little silly, but you just want to go through the different categories of food or ingredients, fresh ingredients, and write down what do you never want to see on your plate and what's okay to put there. So the first thing, like vegetables. All right, green vegetables. What do you never want to see on your plate? Some people put asparagus, some say, I don't know, Brussels sprouts. That always comes up during the holidays, right? I think we've learned a lot about roasting vegetables and bringing out their natural sweetness in the last few years. So take stock. What vegetables do you like? And which ones do you never want to see? Do the people that you're feeding like? Okay. So do that for green, do it for red, do it for yellow. I like to color categorize it just because it helps people to think, okay, well, what is yellow that I like? Okay, well, I like corn, and I'm good with yellow sweet bell peppers, right? And I'm good with what else is yellow? Squash. Maybe not good with summer squash. Okay, so, and I'm talking fast. So hopefully you're taking notes. Okay, so we've got our preferences, we've got our nutrition and dietary guidelines, we've got our cuisines that you like to enjoy or that you would like to try, that you would like to enjoy. And now we're going to just going through our specific preferences for ingredients. Okay, so do that for vegetables, do it for meats, poultry, game. What do you like? What don't you like? And even get as specific as okay with chicken. My family doesn't like, well, not mine in particular. If your family doesn't like dark meat chicken, then note that you're just always going to need to use chicken breast. And the price on that has fluctuated, sadly, over the past couple of years as well. So it's not, depends on the week. Okay, so with beef, do that with chicken, do it with beef, even do it with seafood. Never want to see shrimp, or maybe you have an allergy to shellfish. So cross that off your list, right? You're not going to be looking for shellfish dishes. And do it for dairy, for eggs, for cheese, maybe no blue cheese ever, or blue cheese always, up to you. But take stock, okay, and write it down. And let's see. And after that, when we get to the sort of the last section, then just write a note on what your kitchen confidence is. Are you looking for meals that require a certain time period for prep? Are you looking for certain styles of prep? Do you want like a slow cooker dish? Do you want something that takes 5 minutes to prep, then can cook all day? That would be a good slow cooker. How many of you have an Instant Pot? Instant Pot is fantastic. even just for rice or beans or potatoes, doing baked potatoes. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, so note your level of kitchen confidence. Are you going to want things to prep that you can bake off? Or are you going to want things that you just reheat after you've cooked them? Do you want things that, do you need meals that are grab and go for a busy weekday or weeknight? Or do you need things that, you could start, say, on a weekend morning and then enjoy in the early afternoon for dinner? So after that, you kind of have a profile of what it is that you're trying to plan towards. And what I always do for a new client is I take especially the top preferences for what they like to eat out and what they enjoy at home, and I suggest my versions. And as a personal chef, I always do my best to cook towards the client's tastes and preferences, right? That's what the personal chef is all about. So when I prepare enchiladas, say for one family, they're not going to be necessarily exactly the same as I prepare for another family. One might like spice, one might like less spice. I might use a roasted tomato sauce for one, whereas I might use, even a roasted tomatillo sauce for another. One might like pico de gallo on top, and the other one just wants cheese. So, but those are all things that you can customize for your own family as well. And when you're preparing meals, always try to pay attention to how the levels of spice that you're putting in things or the level of herbs. For things that are going to be reheated, I always throw fresh herbs on top. So if you notice all my food photos, they have a lot of just fresh chopped herbs on top, just because when you reheat, it gives it that extra pop of flavor and that extra aroma that is very enticing and sort of whets the appetite. Okay, so you've got your profile. Right. And this can be really hard. Wendy, you're talking about your picky 10-year-old. This can be challenging because when we talk about pickiness, right, what everybody has kind of a different level of pickiness. So I have one that I noticed very early on, enjoyed mustard, which told me her palate was a little bit more sophisticated. She was kind of liking that, tart and sour taste. Whereas the other one, who used to eat bean and cheese and salsa tortillas or tacos all the time, all of a sudden became my chicken nugget peanut butter person. So, but even within those restrictions, or I would think of them, I try not to think about them as restrictions, right? And I try not to think about having to plan around them, rather I need to plan with them. So making that mindset switch to planning with your preferences and with the guidelines, as opposed to, well, they should be eating this. Well, okay, but we can get there. We need to stair step it. We can get there. But it might take a little time. So with my chicken nugget peanut butter person, I noticed sometime when he was around 12 that he would eat anything that I prepared that had Worcestershire sauce in it. And I think I said that properly. W sauce. We say W sauce. So I began to look for, okay, well, what are other recipes that I can prepare that use W sauce with the beef? Voila. And I came up when all of a sudden I magically expanded his repertoire of meals that he would eat for another 4 meals. We picked up pot roast, and we picked up sloppy joes, and we picked meatballs don't have Worcestershire sauce in it, but they do have a good amount. I make sure mine have a good amount of garlic and onion, and they have that kind of savory umami flavor to them. And he likes just straight up steak with W sauce and butter as well. Maybe a little bit of steak seasoning, but not necessarily. So those are my quick tips for how long did we go? Those are my quick tips for menu planning like a personal chef. And of course, you are please welcome to message me anytime. Wendy, if you want to chat, we definitely can. And I'm happy to provide specific suggestions for your particular situations, because everyone's palates are really different. And with my 15 plus years experience, I can help to kind of widen your arena of what you're trying to present on the plate during the week. And of course, getting your family involved with the meal prep, with the planning is also very important. I always ask mine on Sundays, okay, what do you guys feel like eating this week? And, okay, if they say like lobster and whatever and filet, I just kind of look at them like, okay, that's not happening this week. We're on like the ground beef and maybe chicken breast budget, salmon, filet will also work. But I always ask them, what do you feel like eating this week? Food's always been one of those important things in my family on both sides of the family. We during holidays, we would always kid ourselves, okay, well, we're enjoying this meal, but we're already planning for the next one. So that's how Filipino and and the southern side come together, where we just all love the food. So those are the quick tips. I think someone else just hopped on, so let me just run through the process real quick. First thing you want to do is determine your preferences. What is it that you're already eating? When you eat out, what are the meals that you're already enjoying when you're preparing meals at home? Okay, because those will give you indicators of sort of the flavors that you naturally go for, that you naturally enjoy. And when you do this, make sure you're thinking about not just yourself, but also everyone that you're preparing for. So, what are your preferences? What are the cuisines that you naturally enjoy, or that you are the ones that you want to try? Right. And then you want to take stock of what is okay to be on the plate and what is never okay to be on the plate. So get very specific. Think about the produce aisle. Okay, what do I always grab? What do I always avoid? And it may be taste driven, it may be texture driven, it may be budget driven, but just kind of take a step back from all of those considerations and just do as an objective as possible, taking stock of preferences and tastes. And then after that, okay, so produce, meat, dairy, you want to take a look at all of those. And dairy, do you always use 2%? For eggs, do you only want to use egg whites, or whole eggs okay? For oils, are you okay using butter? Do you want to just use olive oil or grapeseed? But write it all down. And once it's out there, right, once you can see it, then it's always not quite as scary to work with. And thank goodness these days, when I first started chefing, 15 plus years ago, the substitutions and the products that were available were definitely not as myriad as they are today. So thankfully, we have just a lot to choose from now, which can also be overwhelming. I remember trying to prepare gluten-free mac and cheese for an elderly client on one of my first cook dates, and I used I think it was like brown rice pasta that had come out, and oh man, that stuff just fell apart. Maybe I just overboiled it, I'm not sure, but that was a little rough. But now I've used the chickpea pasta lately, and it's wonderful. So lots of good substitutions, but that's a whole other that's a whole other chit chat, right? New substitutions. So okay, so after you have taken stock of everything, then you want to come up with maybe 3 meals that you're going to try this week. And my suggestion, what I always do for new clients, is I want to do my versions of what they enjoy. So if I've been making a lot of lasagna lately. I think it's just the fall, right? So I always ask them, okay, well, with baked lasagna, do you want to try the ragu and the ricotta version, the typical Italian American, very cheesy, meaty, or do you want the classic Northern Italian, which is with the bechamel and bolognese? And they can choose, right? So start with the homemade versions of what you enjoy maybe eating out. So if your kid likes, chicken, I'm just guessing, Wendy, I'm not sure. Mine love chicken tenders. Who doesn't love a good chicken tender? Mine love chicken tenders. So I learned how to make really good crispy chicken at home. And this past weekend, I just picked up a 2-pound package of chicken tenders, and I already had peanut oil in the pantry. I buy it at the Asian market. So it's, the big gallon, good price. And all I did was I just smushed the chicken tenders into the panko breadcrumbs. Panko is awesome for making things crispy. And I used just some all-purpose seasoning, and then I did a quick pan fry in the pan for them, and they were nice and thin and nice and crispy and delicious and homemade, so they didn't have all that extra stuff. that comes with them when you buy them frozen or buy them, or, get them takeout. But then I just did roasted broccoli on the side and did rice in the microwave at the same time. Love my Pampered Chef rice cooker. And so those are my best suggestions on how to menu plan like a personal chef in 20 minutes or less. So please do message me for specific concerns, I'm happy to walk through your set of preferences and culinary guidelines and give you specific suggestions to prepare meals for your family for this upcoming week or 2 weeks during the holidays. It's really important, I think, to try to plan out our meals, right? Because we're kind of going from party to party or celebration to celebration, or we're kind of sandwiched in between two big eating focused occasions, right? So, and this also helps you to plan for balance in your menu. Get all those colors in there, get some variety in there, and enjoy your food. Because if you're enjoying what you're eating, there's no waste. So it actually helps out your budget as well. All right. So those are my best menu plan like a personal chef tips this morning. Thank you so much for being with me and hopping on. This, as always, this will be available for replay. And I do have a couple of things for you. If you are a coffee lover like me, say Java down below. I have a special invite for you. And I also do have to say that no matter how well we can plan for balance, right, in all of our meals, the state of this food supply these days, even if you are trying to buy all the organic and such, there are holes. There are micronutrient holes. And I think this become even more apparent, especially with the discussions lately on gluten. So if you are in the market for micronutrient supplements, I have naturopathic doctor formulated whole foods ones. That's a mouthful, but just say supplements below and I will shoot you some more information on those. So happy menu planning, and please feel free to message me, and I'm happy to help out. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.